Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Brandon Hewitt here with Be Random Fishing, and today we're going to be talking about the donkey rig. I don't know if you guys have ever heard about the donkey rig, but it is awesome. It allows you to present two baits at the same time. You can use two different baits, you can use two of the same baits. A very common way to fish this is two flukes. So I'm going to show you guys how I tie the donkey rig. All you need is two swivels, some line, two hooks, and two baits. Right now, the bait that the bass are schooling after are these tiny little minnows. So I'm going to use these tiny flukes. They're just a 3-inch fluke from Zoom. And I'm going to pair it with these number 2 mosquito hooks. And I'm going to nose hook these. And I'm going to have two running in tandem so it looks like a little mini school of bait fish. So when I do this, I like to use these little tiny swivels. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get two of them. Any swivels will work, it doesn't matter the name brand. And then I'm going to get some of this 10-pound fluorocarbon. I just have Berkeley Vanish. I'll buy a big spool like this 20-pound Vanish, and then I'll spool up one of my reels. So this is my catfish reel. I have 20-pound fluorocarbon on it, and there's some left over. So I'll use the leftover fluorocarbon that I spooled up this reel with for my leader material, so it saves so you don't have to go buy specifically leader material fluorocarbon. So I'm going to take this 10-pound fluorocarbon, and what you do is you take about 1.5 feet and you cut it off. And if you do it in this order, it'll allow you to tie a Polymer knot on both ends of the leader. So then I'll take my swivel and I'll tie a Polymer knot. All right, pull that tight. So now we have a Polymer knot on our swivel, about 1 foot of leader material. So on the other end of the swivel, you tie a hook. So I'm going to get one of these mosquito hooks, and again, just tie it onto the leader with a Polymer knot. You can use any knot, I just like the Polymer knot. And there you go, you have your leader, your hook, and your swivel. Then you just put a bait on, and like I said, I'm going to nose hook these little flukes. So these tiny flukes, I just put it right through the nose, just like that. And this gives it some real good action in the water. It lets that plastic free float. And even these tiny little flukes like this have so much action when you rig them like this. So there's one, and it's about 1 foot long. So the next one we're going to make just a little bit shorter. So again, we take some fluorocarbon leader, cut off a section, tie us on another swivel, and then another hook. Make sure this leader is just a little bit smaller than the last one. And then we put on another bait. So this is your donkey rig. Let me show you how to attach it to the reel. All right, so I got my Daiwa Revros 2500H, and I love this reel. For a cheap reel, it's really good. It's got good anti-reverse. It's a pretty decent reel for the price. And then I have braid. So this is why it's important to tie your swivels to your baits and all that stuff first. That way you can tie a Polymer knot to the swivel in the end. So the first thing I do is I take my rigs and I find out which one's shorter, and that's the one you're going to slide on the line first. So you just take your line and then you slide it through the swivel. You don't tie a knot. Right through the open end of the swivel. And then you have that bait just sliding along the line like that. Then you take the next one and you tie it on to the braid. So I'm going to use a Polymer knot. And this is kind of tricky because there's a lot of leader. But what you do is you tie your Polymer knot with a big loop. So you want to keep that loop pretty big. And then when you tie your Polymer knot, you go with the overhand knot, pull it through, and then you have this big loop, and you're going to take the whole bait and leader and run it through the loop. And that allows you to tie a really strong Polymer knot to the braid, and every single knot on this rig now has a Polymer knot. And there you have it. That's your donkey rig. And they'll get twisted up like that, but they really don't twist up much in the water. When you cast it out and they're moving around, these two swivels work really good at keeping them not twisted. And then this one will just free float back and forth down the line. Some people put a bead in between their two swivels here, but I noticed bluegills and little fish will eat my bead, and then I'll think that's a strike. If it's like this, just the straight swivels, I don't have that issue as much. And then that's it right there. You got 2 baits, 2 hooks, the possibility to catch 2 fish. So let's get out to the lake and see if we can get that done. Got one! Oh, he came off. Got my little ultralight, my donkey rig. The whole idea was to find the schooling bass. There was one that just jumped behind me. And then see if I can catch 2 at once. But this wind is making it very hard to find where the schools are. That was a fish. 100% sure I saw his back. Yep, there they are. Bunch of them, bunch of them. Oh yes. Got one. There it is. Golly, they fight on this ultralight. We got the front hook. He is tiny. That's what I'm talking about. I want 2 of you on my hook. 2. Go get your friends. So that guy hit it on the jerk, jerk, pause, jerk, jerk, pause. Yep. Now we're getting into them. We just need 2 at the same time. Go tell your friends. These are some beautiful little schooling bass. It'd be so cool if I could catch 2 at the same time. Gosh, there's so much fun on this ultralight. He hammered it too. He straight up hammered it. Oh, I got off. That's a bluegill. That's a good eating size bluegill too. I think that's my first bluegill of the year. I'm on the hunt for that double still. I feel so bad because I forgot my anchor. You know how much easier this would be if I just anchored out here? The school's right here though, I can see them. I can still see them surfacing all over right here. See? Oh, I got a fish on. Oh, he came off. Oh, that was so cool. I just have this one sitting out there like that, and I had a fish on it. Hey y'all, donkey rig. Caught us some good bass, but we didn't get that double we were hoping for. So I'm gonna show you guys how to rig this donkey rig up in the studio because it's kind of windy and we're drifting all over the place, but we caught some good fish on it and it's a lot of fun. So we'll catch you guys in the studio. So a couple other awesome ways you can rig the donkey rig is with a couple high-tech paddle tails on some EWG hooks. You can run normal size flukes. I like these Elastechs, these jerk shads, just because they last a long time. They're really awesome. The only thing bad about these hooks is if you run them on a regular EWG hook, they like to pull through. So once the bait gets worn out a little bit, it'll start pulling through the hook. So what I like to use is these Owner cover shot hooks, because they have this little thing here at the end that helps keep the bait in place. So you hook it the same way, through the nose, through the bait, and then you hook it up through the belly. Now this is 100% weedless, and I'll get you guys a good view of this right here. It really does help hold this bait in place. These cover shot hooks, they work a little bit better than the EWG hooks, just because it's really smooth right here on an EWG hook, and that bait will slide, like it'll slide right off. Where these kind of hooks help hold these Elastechs in place a little better. So it doesn't matter what kind of bait you're using, you still tie it the same way. You do the hook, leader, swivel on 2 baits, and then you slide 1 swivel through the line, and then tie the other swivel on, and then you're left with a donkey rig with pretty much any bait you want. Kind of a cool way to rig it is if you have a shaky head, you can use the shaky head as the bottom hook, and then use like a paddle tail or a worm as your second hook, and it almost works as a drop shot, but it gives you a hook on the weight. So you have your bottom hook as your drop shot weight, and then your second hook will kind of free float in the water as like a second option for the fish. And that's kind of a really cool way, if you're really into drop shotting, to do this for your weight. You just tie on like a shaky head and use it as your weight for drop shotting rather than a drop shot weight. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. We caught some fish. We didn't get that double we were really hoping for, but hopefully next time we'll get them. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.